I am founder, CEO, and head of multifamily and corporate office department of Sottovento again, that is a Swiss-based holding.
Perfect. Okay. Giovanni, we will speak today about the future of multifamily office. You have big experience in this, and I'm sure you can help our audience in clarifying some, let's say, definitions which they need to understand in a plain English for them. For me, the main question which arises now is, what do you think? Is the traditional family office outdated now in 2026, taking into account all changes and artificial intelligence, or is the same like it was like in traditional time?
Well, of course, it is not like it was in traditional time because my opinion, also from my experience, I am in this sector of family office, multi-family office since many years. No, I worked with many families in different jurisdictions, with different profiles, with different goals, in different moments. Okay, my opinion now is that important is for family office to have the right transition to corporate office. This is what I am. It's not just my opinion, of course. It's what also I feel speaking with the client, because for multifamily office, as I represent, I am the co-founder and the CEO of a multifamily office. Having yes, wealthy families, but entrepreneur families as clients, they need to be helped and assisted also in their corporate business, in their corporate needs. And so the modern family office, according to me, is also a corporate office. This is very important. Also because private choices, private needs are more and more linked with business. No?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, does this mean that family now want to have very clear reporting, very clear risk control, decision rules, who is taking decision on what, which kind of investment? I mean, it doesn't work anymore like it was in the past with emotion decisions made by family members. Now you're saying that there are some people, decision makers, which are taking clear decisions. They have risk control and everything. Is that what you are saying?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, this is the real need. And I'm not speaking about HNWI or very important families that also we manage, but also about medium families, that family companies, for example, in Italy, mainly, there are a lot of this, and they also ask another thing to the family and corporate office, also to help them in the generational change of the company, because or they are at the point to sell the company, or they need to help the new generation to manage it. And it is not so simple, not only for technical issues, but mainly for emotional issues.
Yeah.
But the company was born with the father. The father is 80, is still in the company. He thinks that he's better than everybody all over the world. But probably the new generation can be also reserved. And we are also working a lot on this point. We are focused also with the business line on this. And this is really needed in Italy a lot in this moment, for example.
Let me challenge you, because some people say that multifamily offices are slowly becoming private equity funds in kind of, shadow private equity funds. And they do like direct deals. They try to also raise capital from outside, buying companies. So acting actually like investment funds. So what do you think? Don't compare this with your business, but in general, what do you think? Is the market acting like this nowadays?
Generally speaking, absolutely. We have to consider that This is sure a need of the investors, of the families. And there are also now the modern instruments that facilitate this for family offices, family offices. And so it is also easier, if I can say, to do this. Absolutely. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I mean, they private equity funds. They usually raise money, charge high fees for management. They need to have a strategy of exit. But family offices, they invest only their own capital. They think long term. They don't have to sell fast because they don't need money. So they are happier with small returns, but long term and a lower risk. But investment funds are, let's say, more risky. Depends which appetite of risk they are having. But yeah, and don't you think that there is a risk that family offices, when they behave like deal hunters instead of wealth protectors, don't you think that this is a huge risk which can sometimes bring to the bankruptcy of the family? What do you think? Is this a danger?
Danger, no. It is a potential risk that has to be under control, of course. But I think also it is the normal evolution of a family office in this moment, or a multi-family office in this moment. And the added value, as you told, that the family office can give is the approach is totally different, of course, from private equity. We agree, absolutely, and well explained. Uh, and is also more flexible, you know. Is also there is also a management that is one-to-one with the client, just like a boutique, for example. But there is also the opportunity to do this, and probably in private equity, this is not so easy because of no. I think that there is this risk, can be also such a conflict of interest, but we have work with ethic. We have to work exactly knowing the profile of the client. This is very important. That's why, generally speaking, we can generally speak. But of course, when we speak about the client, is the single client that has his profile, his mentality, his goals, his family or not, and so on.
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
think it is absolutely under control this week, and this normal evolution to give added value to the client.
So what do you think in the last, let's say, changes worldwide? Are the wealthy families trying to move across different countries to diversify risk, and what are the main destinations you see nowadays? Is Middle East like Dubai, Abu Dhabi, or Singapore, or Switzerland? Of course, taking into account what is happening in the last times, maybe not so much. Maybe the appetite for risk will be other to family offices. But I mean, in general, what are the directions of multifamily offices in which countries and which risk they prefer?
Well, the mobility now is a must. Mobility now is a must. So, to seize the opportunities where they are. In this moment, the flow, well, the last days changes something. Of course, I'm thinking about feeling and emotion in this moment. But the flows, well, a lot of flows went from also Switzerland to Middle East, sure, absolutely. So Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Singapore, to from London, as we know a lot, of course. I don't have to explain. I have also to say that also the mobility depends on the goals of the state. No, for example, Switzerland today can be okay if you just want to manage your asset. But if you are looking for a place where also work, where develop project, where there is a question of taxation, for example, but not only, of bureaucracy, but not only. In this case, the clients are moving absolutely to Middle East, for example. We are also in this moment some clients that are moving to new countries as Georgia and Albania. But here is some opportunities that are more of speculation probably in this moment, but they are doing this also with important values that are investing there. And so the geography is this one. Monaco is the buen retiro in this moment. Okay, is okay for aged people probably that just want also they manage the fund. And Switzerland is just like Monaco in this moment. You know, a lot changed for example, but the flows are this. Always still generally speaking.
Okay, so in other words,
And there is also an interesting move into Italy. Milano welcomed a lot of UHNWI, as you well know, but this is just for fiscal.
Yeah, I heard about this tax. I heard about these tax incentives in Italy. So in general speaking, we'll say that families today worry not just about taxation, but also political risk, maybe, let's say, sanctions list, country with legal uncertainty, maybe bilateral investment treaties between countries if they can protect their assets, we can say. So it's not about only taxes, but a lot of factors they are taking into account. And would you say that the risk and reward is always going together? So it means if it's higher risk, then it's higher reward. It's lower risk, then lower reward, right? So this is the true also for multifamily offices.
Yeah, this is the true also for multifamily office. And in the fourth ranking, the clients now are looking for and are asking for asset protection more than that.
Exactly. Okay, let's
point, and that's why they move. Or they move well. They manage their funds as assets in various jurisdictions. That's the most important. Yeah. Then there is the tax pressure, of course, as you told, the bilateral agreements between countries. Also to put the flag to be LWA to size opportunities in that quickly in that country, for example. Also sometimes to have the opportunity to do the right financial engineering for their goals. So there are different, reasons, and depends on the profile, of course. But the first one is the asset protection in this moment. And of course, political risks are most important. And in this moment that we are speaking now, we can also imagine that is something that is on the table, speaking about also about the situation in the Middle East. But here, in my opinion, probably in a short time, everything will be better than before. But this is my opinion.
I'm also sure, and I totally agree with you that in Middle East, especially in Dubai, the government of Dubai is doing a great job to protect the people of this country, the tourists, and also to protect the investments made in Dubai. And maybe Dubai is a good example of success case study for many countries from even from Europe, how they need to behave in such crisis. But now I would like to switch to the market of money and capital in European market, and not only European market but also worldwide. As we know, nowadays the interest rates of ECB bank are very high in EU. They didn't cut down the rates yet. Even the inflation is going down little by little. And as also we know from the finance, if we have cheaper interest rates, then of course the value of the real estate increases because the power to buy these assets is high, and then the value is going high also for the properties. And vice versa, when the interest rates are high, like now, then the value are going down, may also come to a crisis. and the potential buying power is very slow for multifamily offices maybe. So I would like to ask you in this regard, what are multifamilies looking for to leverage their investments with cheap interest rates from banks, or to invest their own capital? Why I'm asking this? Because this is also something very interesting for me. As you know, the cost of equity of private money is always much higher than the cost of debt, the cost of foreign attracted money. So, and in this regard, my question is to you, nowadays, do the multifamily offices use own private equity to invest in different real estate or businesses, or do they just wait until the rates come down and then they finance this and leverage with banks? What's your assessment on this?
Well, we are sizing some opportunities, sure, using also our own fund. But if the opportunity in this moment is a really interesting opportunity, okay, in real estate, and not only, but also in real estate, why not? But we are waiting, of course, to leverage. Okay, of course, now we have this approach, So, for example, we are really having a very strict work of check analysis of opportunities that we have on the table, and the long list that is a medium, that is a short list, is a very short list in this moment. We want to decide fund, waiting for a moment where we can do leverage. So this is a situation that is a bit in evolution. Okay, in evolution. This is our moment, not only our speaking with the community.
Okay, understood.
Then thinking about real estate, there are some opportunities, of course, and so we consider these also using our own fund in this moment.
So are you saying the best strategy is to leverage the investment, but if you have real opportunities where the return is high, then you can even invest 100% own capital? Yeah,
we do a big selection in this moment, okay, to use our own fund, waiting to do leverage and waiting, of course, for the situation that is evolving now. This is the point. So our analysts, for example, are very important in this moment to bring really the opportunities that we can try.
Great, I got your point, yeah. Let's talk a little bit about luxury property. Is this a bubble or a safe haven? Because many are trying to invest nowadays in prime location, maybe history buildings, maybe not so much rental income for the time being, but they invest in, I saw some properties, for example, in Dubai, they are costing not 1 and not 2 million, they are costing like 50 million euro. There are penthouses from some very renowned brands which might cost more than a double house in Switzerland on the lake of Geneva. So my question to you, what do you think this luxury property is, a bubble or a safe haven for investors?
In this moment, we don't consider it is a bubble, but it's a safe investment for our client. Then, the geography makes the difference also in this, but generally speaking, it is not a bubble for us.
Okay.
This is our opinion. And there is no risk if we speak about iconic luxury properties, of course. For example, also in our real estate department, we just work on iconic and luxury properties. Or development, but is another thing, and flipping, but is another thing of the.
So I got your point. Thank you, Giovanni. Another question which I have is regarding the club deals. So what do you think if people invest through a club deal? Is this safer, or is just temporary shared risk between parties. Because, again, sometimes if you want to have access to a bigger investment, to a better return on investment, to a market which you cannot access. For example, there is a plot of land which costs, I don't know, 100 million euro, and you cannot afford a loan, but in order to have access to it, you may invite somebody in a club deal and share expertise also with them. Somebody's a developer, somebody's an investor, somebody's an ex-banker like you are. So what do you think? Is this safe nowadays? And how should be divided the roles and risks in a club deal?
Okay, in your question, you said safer than, for example, than private equity. You mean?
Yeah, like a integrated family office without other families involved.
Okay. No, in this moment, for example, no, I think that is safe, absolutely. Of course, it depends on the selection of the actors of the deal. This is if I can say, the most important thing when you want to build a club deal, of course. But this is the moment of club deals and private debt for
Yes.
different reasons, of course, for different reasons. Because for someone, it's not so easy to access to funds, to the finance industry, for example, because of the timing, the bureaucracy, because of the approach and the policy. So I can say that, but these are public info, of course. This is really the moment of private debt and club deal.
Yeah.
And I don't
So
think it's safe. Don't think this is such a risk. I don't know. No, it depends on the selection of the actors, of course. Sorry, better, for example, but here I'm speaking about our structure. For example, if you do this in the perimeter of your clients and investors, and you don't go outside to find investors, but in-house, you have already the investors that have the same mentality, the same approach, the same vision, and so on. For example, we work on this matching, and so the club deal fits perfectly.
exactly, yeah. But do you agree with me that you need to have a clear leadership in the club deal? Who is doing
Yeah,
what? And a
absolutely.
clear exit strategy. When, what is our target? When we exit, at which conditions? Yeah. And also maybe clear governance, so and clear documentation, a structure in place. Because I will share from my experience. I was a lawyer from a medium-sized club deal, and the main problem which we discovered that people didn't know very well each other, but after several meetings they were thinking that every body made his due diligence on the project, but it was not the case. Just one did due diligence, other people they didn't really understood by the end what are the red flags and so on. They have false expectations of the exit, and then this became a messy and a potential dispute. Of course, it was a settlement, but in this case, I believe it is very important to have a structure in place. A structure with all legal documentation, beginning with the LOI and finishing with the due diligence, legal report, and financial and technical, if the case might be, because these are the most risks they may have. So, yeah,
I
please
can
add if
say,
you.
sorry. No, I can say this is the conditio sine qua non. When you are at the table with the stakers, this is the first point that they have to agree, of course. That's why I told you 2 minutes ago that for us is very important the preliminary work. When we are at the table with them, and basically we try to be at the table with selected investors, and that's why I told you for us when we build a club deal, we prefer to work with our own clients in our perimeter of investors that we know everything about them. We know who matches perfectly with another one and not. This is not just a question of money. Okay, you have money, you want to invest, but if you have a different vision, a different mentality, a different situation, also, you cannot stay at that table with another investor. We were maniac this step because we know that the quality depends of course of the performance depends on this, and then the governance has to be clear. Absolutely,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
role has to be clear. But this before in the kickoff meeting, okay, before LOI, before everything, before the papers. If this is not clear and this is not agreed, this is not shared, okay, we consider something other, no? This is very, very important. Otherwise, it's crazy.
yeah. It's
Otherwise,
getting messy.
can be crazy, you know. And so after you have some issues to call
Yeah,
probably, but it is not
yeah,
so
yeah,
easy.
yeah,
We know.
yeah.
Also the mentality, the psychology is important.
Exactly. Yeah, you touched a very good point actually, because if you have investors from Middle East and you have in the meantime one from Germany or another from America, you need to take into account what the value of those people are, how they think, what and to manage properly their expectations. Some people are more emotional, some are strategic investors. Uh, we also had cases where people invested money without making any calculations. And we asked why you did this investment. Yeah, because I have a dream. Okay, then fulfill your dream, but please also take into account our legal opinion on the case because later you might need it. And also a topic which I would like to touch with you is what we should do, lawyers, finance experts, or business advisors, or asset managers, what we should do to improve the quality of investments of family members which are not aware of how this kind of business is done. Because you see many, I would say maybe 10% from my clients, they made bad investments. They don't calculate exactly the return per year. They don't know how to use discounted cash flow models for interest rates. They don't know how to discount for inflation, for how to compare this with the maybe T-bonds in the country. And when you do a right calculation for a family business, actually understand they don't make money. They don't
Mhm.
make money. They just using their time and resources to make some bureaucratic work. But at the end of 5 years investment, they did not grow on capital gains. They did not generate cash flow. They just parked badly money in some investments which it did not perform. And my question is to you is how we can help these people. I mean, to not lose money but make more money, because money should bring money. How we know, right? What do you think?
Yeah.
What is the financial education a tool, or I mean, we have
Yeah.
doctors, we have engineers, we have also lawyers specialized only in defense law. I have my colleagues, I'll tell you from my experience, they work like 25, 30 years in
Mm.
legal advice, and they cannot afford a normal business trip to a conference in Switzerland or in Germany. So, of course, financial education is the answer, but what other? Because on another side, investment funds and private equity companies, they are not allowed to do very aggressive marketing and inform these people about how they must invest their monies. And so from one side we have these restrictions from regulators. From another side we have people which lack access to real information how this works.
Mhm.
So What do you think? What is the solution in this case?
I don't know if I have the solution. I can say that is the answer is simple. It's not simple to manage this problem because it becomes a problem. My idea is that, as you told, the financial education probably is something that we have to consider. And that's why I told you that preliminary work is very important. Also, to well understand it, also for a question of alignment of the various investors, if we speak about the club deal, of course, we don't speak about club deal with the single investor. We absolutely to well understand which is his status about financial education, financial knowledge, because different is what he says to know, and different is what he really knows about it.
Exactly.
And this is not a job, is an important job. It's not just a technical job because you are entering into a personal phase. Here you enter in communication, emotions, history, and you know that nobody is so open to do his storytelling. Especially if there are some moments that not so okay for him, but we know that also those moments are important to build your future. Is more the first step is more psychological work, than technical, according to me. That's why we have a team, for example, that does it together with lawyers, together with financial, or we have the professionals that are also able to speak with the client about this question. I think that this is the point. Then we must be able, and here there is the knowledge, there is everything, of course, experience, background, and so on, to traduce this in operating. And this is the second step. But before, I have to understand you 100%, your history, who you are, who you want to be, which is your education, as we told, and your experiences. Also the bad experiences, because as I told you, we know that they can help building your future. This is the point, according to me. Nothing
Very interesting approach.
But sometimes the problem is not of the client; it's also of the professional. Because I can be the best lawyer, I can be the best financial planner, I can be the best family officer, but if I have not the ability to enter into the soul, the heart of the client, and to, speak one-to-one, also at the same level, for example, if I speak and I don't listen and so on, that probably I will have to manage problems and not text.
Exactly.
Our mission, as you told, of course, because you told they lose money, our mission is to make money with the client. And so we have to ask ourselves, what do I need to do from the first second that I am face to face with the client until the end of the process to create the opportunities to make money together? There is this work that is not technical. This is not a question of masters. A question of is a bit different, but very important. Mainly if you work with medium-sized clients, that probably are also alone, doing this business, this investment, these stories. Okay, it depends on what exactly we're speaking about. So if he is alone, and we have to help him, but help him before.
Yeah, exactly.
I
like your approach because your approach is very practical, and I can see that you have huge experience.
Human. Don't forget the human with the client.
Yeah. I remember.
There is
please.
In this moment, IT, AI, and so on are interesting. They can help us. They are a resource. We have to use it. But if we use it in the right way, we will have more time also to have the human approach with the client. and the human management of the client.
Yes.
And this is important. And probably in this moment we are not so focused on this, if I can say, because the society is fast, because everybody wants that you answer his WhatsApp or mail in 1 minute, because there are many benchmarks on the market. But we have to focus on the human approach. And understanding the client is the fourth thing. And understanding does not mean that I understand what he's saying. You have to understand his choices in the past, so on. Okay, I told you before, so I don't want to repeat. We are investing a lot in this, for example. For example, we are investing a lot in this, mainly with the medium-sized investors, that they have a company, a family company, the founder worked 14 days, 14 hours daily in the company until 80. So, which is the financial education of this? But he has 500 millions to invest. Okay, but the financial education of this kind of client,
Exactly.
I don't know. We have to work on this.
Yeah, you touched a very, very interesting topic. I liked your practical insights, and how I can understand from you is not only let's say manage expectations of the client, but also this human being needs, especially maybe when you talk to people, you need to ask open questions. They need to describe their bad experiences in the past. They need to tell exactly how they see their financial, let's say, adventure in the last 5 years, and so on. And also, I remember there is a book saying negotiation to yes. Always we need to find the real interest of people, because sometimes when you talk to them, they may hide intentionally or unintentionally their real interests. They maybe try to impress, they maybe don't trust each other, and they want to tell you different story than is real. And by asking the right questions, you can find what is the interest of these people. Do they really, like in this, it was an example, like father is coming home and his 2 daughters are fighting because of the orange. And father, being a good negotiator, he asked, hey, why you want both to have this orange and why you fight? And one daughter told him that I need just to eat. Another said, I need for cooking. I want to cook something. And the father just made half, give to another to eat, and the cover to another daughter to make cooking. So in such a way, he solved both interests, So that's why it's important to talk to people, exactly like you say. Find the real needs, what they want from this project, what they want from life, which securities they want for their future, for children, how much, and so on. Because sometimes you'll be surprised, the interests are totally different than we think it was. So this is the...
I always say that I'm not a judge. So if I ask you, which is your motivation, I respect, of course, in respect of law, okay, everything. I respect your motivation, but I know which is the point that I have to be focused on.
Yes.
In communication and in operating.
Yes.
No, and there is a lot of ability of listening here, the client. Some of them probably prefer speak, but we have to train ourselves to listen to the client and do the right questions. But the right questions, not 100 questions, because it's not okay. No?
Yeah. No, exactly.
But the right number of questions to have to have for us the interesting answer. The motivation that we work in communication and in operating. This is the first point. That is also the ABC of communication, of course, if you want to say. If you work in communication, you cannot have these skills.
Yeah.
But we know that sometimes with highest level professional with knowledge, has not these abilities, these skills in communication. It is very important now, and now more than before. In this moment, where we are also probably moving in a human space, in a spiritual space. Another challenge is business and human value, business and spiritual value in this moment.
Yeah.
Exactly. And if you are not BlackRock, but you are a good actor in this industry, boutique, you can do this easily than the giant of this industry. And so we have to do it if you want to make the difference.
Yeah.
We have also to force ourselves to make the difference if needed to help the client.
Yeah.
Also, risking not to do the business, not to obtain the mandate. Okay.
Yeah.
Because the risk is also sometimes, it's not easy. What we are speaking about. But, okay, there is the risk that I will not obtain this mandate. Okay.
Yeah.
But I work with ethics. I work with values.
Yeah. Okay, Giovanni. I would like to have the final exchange closing. Let's summarize our talk. So, coming back to the main question, can you just give me 5 main points should multifamily office manager take into account in order to make great job?
Yes, sure. Well, one, as I told you, the goal and also the ability to move to corporate office in a short time. This is a point. That is a strategy, of course, and organization. This is a point. Another point, sure, in this moment, is to have really a worldwide vision, because the need of the client more and more is the mobility, as I told you, is the moving from a jurisdiction to another, or the value that we can give is this. And so you have, before the client, you have to be present in other places and so on. So this is another point. Third point is to consider in your organization that as we told 5 minutes ago, the human area, communication area, the attention to the client, the communication with the client, the listening, are very strategic in this moment to make the difference. And this can be also obvious, but when you check the organizations, you see that this is sure something to improve. And so also choose the right person with the attitude, with the skills. This is important, yes. The fourth one is a great, I can say, team of analysts that can select really the opportunities of investment for the clients. Now, the work is not so easy because we have to check all over the world. No, before I told you there is Middle East, there is Georgia, there is Albania, there is Singapore. There can be also, of course, the Europe. Why not? Okay, but you must have a team of analysts that in a short time, because to be quick is another point. I don't like so much this, to be honest. But what I can say, this is a point. And so also your analysts must have this ability to give you opportunities that we have on the table that you can check. and there are 4 points. The fifth point, I'm thinking about the fifth because I want to give you five. Also, what can I say? The share with the client, because sometimes I see, okay, if you don't do the first work, that is, you want to understand the client, okay, probably you have to change the work, according to me. But even if you do it, and so you have the mandate, you work on it, the risk is that after you are focused only on the work, on the technical work, on the steps and so on, and you are not so present with the client.
You mean a permanent communication with the client?
Yes, communication, updates, but communication, sometimes also not to say something so important, but be present,
Yes.
because the client likes it so much.
Yes.
So much. I think these 5 points.
This is a good advice also for me, because sometimes I'm forgetting to communicate properly because too many tasks and multitasking is happening nowadays. But this is a great point, and I also observed your communication style, and I like it. I would like to say thank you for the positive communication we had up to now, and continue in the same way. Giovanni, thank you very much for your time. I know your schedule is very busy, but I appreciate you found time to meet even on Zoom. Also, it was supposed that I'm in Frankfurt now, but because of this flight delays, I'm in another country, as you know. But nevertheless, because I respect you a lot, I decided just to do this webinar wherever I am. So let's keep in touch. I wish you the best day, and maybe we can work in some common projects in the future. Thank you very much.
I thank you so much too, Igor. Thank you so much for your time. I wish you a good staying in Dubai. You are there, so I wish you a good staying, and also I hope that you can fly back soon to Frankfurt. And what can I say? Really very interesting. It was a great pleasure for me. It will be a great pleasure also to share common projects and work together. You know this. And I wish you a great day, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Giovanni.